Good day, future LPTs. Welcome back to Gurong Pinoy review session for English majors. Today we are going to rationalize set 7, composed of 50 questions. I am Professor Paul Hiranio, a faculty member of the University of San Agustin, and I am your English major coach. I am a graduate of West Visayas State University College of Education, where I majored in teaching English in the secondary. And I have a master's degree in ESL, that's English as a Second Language, from the University of the Philippines, and that's UP. And currently, I am finishing my Juris Doctor degree at the University of San Agustin College of Law. Okay, let's start. Question number 1. What is a communication tool shed home? A home full of communication tools. B, a place where people congregate to buy communication tools. C, a place where communication tools are stored and used to receive and send messages. D, a broadcast studio. Again, what is a communication tool shed home? A home full of communication tools. B, a place where people congregate to buy communication tools. C, a place where communication tools are stored and used to receive and send messages. D, a broadcast studio. Correct answer is letter C, a place where communication tools are stored and used to receive and send messages. Communication tool shed home. It is a place where communication tools are stored and used to receive and send messages. By the way, this is a LET question. This question came out in the LET for English majors. The communication tool shed home is equipped with tools such as radio, television, VCRs, CDs, newspaper, books, magazines, fax machines, and computers. The tool shed home, people were in need of free activities, many of which were in the home. This was the history. This was the reason why the tool shed home was conceptualized. No? Books, people need that time, needed books, magazines, home delivery mail. And during that time, radio was in its golden age. The evolution of the tool shed home created the growth of the disconnection from the outside world. This is the setback, the negative effect, the disconnection from the outside world, and the birth of the antisocial. The tool shed home. Question number 2. It is the study of how language manifests in the brain. A, structural linguistics. B, social linguistics. C, historical linguistics. D, psycholinguistics. Again, it is the study of how language manifests in the brain. A, structural linguistics. B, social linguistics. C, historical linguistics. D, psycholinguistics. The correct answer is psycholinguistics, the study of how language manifests in the brain. Psycholinguistics, well, we all know that psycholinguistics is the study of the mental aspects of language and speech. When you say mental, it has something to do, or it is related to the human brain. It is a brain thing, they say. Mental aspects. It is the study of the mental aspects of language and speech. It is primarily concerned with the ways in which language is represented in the brain, how language manifests in the brain. Psycholinguistics, from the word psyche, which means mind or mental, and linguistics, the study of language. So, psycholinguistics is the study of language in the mind. Psycholinguistics is a branch of study which combines the disciplines of psychology and linguistics. It is concerned with the relationship between the human mind and the language as it examines the processes that occur in brain while producing and perceiving both written and spoken discourse. It focuses mainly on how language is learned, stored, and occasionally lost. So that is psycholinguistics, one of the branches, one of the main branches of linguistics. Question number 3. Developing countries are experiencing a significant rise in birth rates. Blank. Other developed economies such as Japan and Germany are facing a severe shortage of laborers. A. Likewise. B. Besides. C. To summarize. D. In contrast. Again, developing countries are experiencing a significant rise in birth rates. Blank. Other developed economies such as Japan and Germany are facing a severe shortage of laborers. A. Likewise. B. Besides. C. To summarize. D. In contrast. So this is a question on transitional, the correct use of transitional devices. The question shows the use of a transition word, or the question rather requires the use of a transition word that shows contrast or dissimilarity of things. It shows the difference between that of developing countries and that of developed economies. So the correct answer is in contrast. One thing is in contrast to another. It is very different from it. So in contrast. Next, number 4. Rewards in English classes are A. Positive reinforcements, B. Negative reinforcements, C. Both A and B, D. Neither A nor B. Again, rewards in English classes are A. Positive reinforcements, B. Negative reinforcements, C. Both A and B, D. Neither A nor B. Rewards in English classes are positive reinforcements. Positive reinforcements Positive reinforcement refers to introducing a desirable stimulus, such as a reward, to encourage behavior that is desired. So this is positive reinforcement through rewards. In the classroom, positive reinforcement usually works better than negative reinforcement. So rewards are better than punishments. Positive reinforcement works better than negative reinforcement. Small rewards, which are a form of positive reinforcement, are convenient, easily and quickly given, and do not disturb the student. Negative reinforcement, on the other hand, such as breaks in school, would only take away from the student doing the desirable but aversive to the student behavior, such as homework, studying, or participating in class. And question number 5, the population of the world, A. rises very fast, B. is rising very fast, C. has risen very fast, D. rose very fast. Again, the population of the world, A rises very fast, B. is rising very fast, C. has risen very fast, D. rose very fast. The correct answer is rising. The population of the world is rising very fast. Rising is in the present progressive or present continuous tense. In American English, it's called present progressive tense. And in British English, it's present continuous. They use the term present continuous tense. The structure is be verb, is, plus verb ing, rising. So is rising. Be verb plus verb ing. So we say, I am doing. She is sleeping. We are dancing. We use the present progressive or continuous. I am doing something to talk about changes happening now or around now. So the population of the world is rising very fast. This is the correct form. And we don't say the population of the world rises very fast. Again, we use the present progressive or continuous to talk about changes happening now. No? The population of the world is rising very fast. Okay, number 6. Now part of the Oxford English Dictionary, it refers to a carton shipped or brought to the Philippines from another country by a Filipino who has been living overseas, typically containing items such as food, clothing, toys, and household products. A. Pasalubong. B. Balikbayan box. C. Baon. D. Tupperware. The correct answer is Balikbayan box. It refers to a carton shipped or brought to the Philippines from another country by a Filipino who has been living overseas, typically containing items such as food, clothing, toys, and household products. And all of us in the Philippines are excited to receive a Balikbayan box. Okay, English is a global language and it is a living language as well, which means it is dynamic. Being dynamic means that it accepts words from other languages. And we call these words as loan words. All the choices here, pasalubong, balikbayan box, baon, and Tupperware, are Filipino terms, Filipino words that are now part of the Oxford English Dictionary. Pasalubong, balikbayan box, baon, and Tupperware. Tupperware is a famous brand of plastic containers. Number 7, who wrote the poem For Whom the Bell Tolls? A. Robert Frost. B. E. A. Cummings. C. T.S. Eliot. D. Ernest Hemingway. Again, who wrote the poem For Whom the Bell Tolls? A. Robert Frost. B. E. A. Cummings. C. T.S. Eliot. D. Ernest Hemingway. The correct answer is Ernest Hemingway. Well, Ernest Hemingway was an American novelist, short story writer, and journalist, and he won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1954. In 1937, Ernest Hemingway traveled to Spain to cover the Civil War. Remember, he was a journalist. To cover the Civil War there for the North American Newspaper Alliance. 3 years later, he completed the greatest novel to emerge from the Good Fight, For Whom the Bell Tolls. The story of Robert Jordan, a young American in the International Brigades attached to an anti-fascist guerrilla unit in the mountains of Spain. It tells of loyalty and courage, love and defeat, and the tragic death of an ideal. Ernest Hemingway. Next, number 8. Choosing the best communication channel can make the difference between success and failure on the job. Which of the following options gives you the most control over the receiver's attention? A. Telephone. B. Hard copy. C. Face-to-face. D. Voicemail. Again, choosing the best communication channel can make the difference between success and failure on the job. Which of the following options gives you the most control over the receiver's attention? A. Telephone. B. Hard copy. C. Face-to-face. D. Voicemail. The correct answer is, of course, face-to-face. Face-to-face communication is, the best when it comes to giving you control over the receiver's attention. Face-to-face communication is the distinction of being able to see the other party or parties in a conversation. You see the other person flesh and blood, not just virtually. It allows for a better exchange of information since both the speaker and the listener are able to see and interpret body language and facial expressions. Number 9, yesterday Karen and Jim played tennis. They began at 10 o'clock and finished at 11:30. So at 10:30 they played tennis. B, they were playing tennis. C, they have been playing tennis. D, they had been playing tennis. Again, yesterday, Karen and Jim played tennis. They began at 10 o'clock and finished at 11:30. So at 10:30, they, A, played tennis. B, were playing tennis. C, have been playing tennis. D, had been playing tennis. The correct answer is letter B, they were playing tennis. This is the correct use of the past continuous or the past progressive form or tense of the verb. The structure is the past continuous or the past progressive. The structure is was or were plus verb ing. Were playing, was eating, were walking. So they started playing at 10 and finished at 11:30. So at 10:30, they were playing tennis. They were in the middle of playing. They were playing means they were in the middle of playing. They had not finished playing. We use the past continuous or progressive, that's were, was, or were plus verb ing, to say that somebody was in the middle of doing something at a certain time. The action or situation had already started before this time, but had not finished. So this time yesterday, I was sleeping. I was in the middle of sleeping. Number 10, it is the study of the intersection of language with society. A, social linguistics. B, applied linguistics. C, structural linguistics. D, historical linguistics. Again, it is the study of the interaction of language with society. A, social linguistics. B, applied linguistics. C, structural linguistics. D, historical linguistics. Correct answer is social linguistics, society, sociology, so social linguistics. It is the study of the sociological aspect of language, language and society, language and culture, and the effects of language use within a group of people. Social linguistics. What is social linguistics? It's made up of two words, social, which means society, and linguistics, which means language. Relationship between the two, language and society. How society affects language and how language affects society. The interaction between the two creates changes, language, and the way we use language. More information about social linguistics. Social linguistics is the study of the complex relationship between language and society. It explains why we speak differently in different social contexts, identifying the social functions of language and the ways it is used to convey social meaning. Number 11, which of the following transitional devices shows emphasis? A, also. B, unlike. C, finally. D, definitely. Again, which of the following transitional devices shows emphasis? A, also. B, unlike. C, finally. D, definitely. Correct answer is letter D, definitely. When you say emphasis, you give special importance or value or prominence to something. That is emphasis. Definitely is a transitional device that shows emphasis. It means without any doubt or certainly. Option A, also, shows not emphasis but addition. Option B shows not emphasis but difference or dissimilarity. And option C shows order. Finally, shows order or sequence, not emphasis. So the correct answer is definitely. Emphasis words do just that. Serve to emphasize points that you want the reader to really be aware of and understand. So definitely, extremely, it is extremely important. Obviously, in fact, indeed, in any case, absolutely, positively, naturally, surprisingly, always, forever, never, emphatically, unquestionably, without a doubt, certainly, undeniably, without reservation. Example, Ross has been married 3 times. Ross likes to get married. So Ross has been married 3 times. Obviously, Ross likes to get married. Transitions showing emphasis. Question number 12. Graciano Lopez Vaina founded and edited the Fortnightly Blank. These eventually led to the armed revolution against the Spanish government in the Philippines in 1896, a testament of the power of journalism in bringing about social change. A. Kalayaan. B. El Heraldo de la Revolucion. C. La Solidaridad. D. Del Superior Gobierno. Again, Graciano Lopez Haina founded and edited the Fortnightly Blank. This eventually led to the armed revolution against the Spanish government in the Philippines in 1896, a testament of the power of journalism in bringing about social change. A. Kalayaan. B. El Heraldo de la Revolucion. C. La Solidaridad. D. Del Superior Gobierno. Okay, the correct answer is, of course, La Solidaridad. This is a question on journalism. La Solidaridad was a newspaper founded by Graciano Lopez Haina in Barcelona, Spain. Option A, Kalayaan, was the official organ of Katipunan. El Heraldo de la Revolucion was the official organ of the First Philippine Republic under President Emilio Aguinaldo. So the correct answer here is La Solidaridad, the solidarity. La Solidaridad urged reforms in both religion and government in the Philippines, and it served as the voice of what became known as the propaganda movement. Aims of La Solidaridad: to work for political and social reforms peacefully, to present the sad conditions in the Philippines so that Spain can remedy them, or could remedy them, to oppose the evil influences of reaction and to outmoded beliefs and practices, to advocate liberal ideas and progress, and to champion the just aspirations of the Filipinos to life, democracy, and happiness. La Solidaridad. Question number 13. Oral communication is better than written communication for A. Conveying facts and opinions. B. Conveying feelings and emotions. C. Providing opportunity to refer back. D. Saving time. Again, oral communication is better than written communication for A. Conveying facts and opinions. B. Conveying feelings and emotions. C. Providing opportunity to refer back. D. Saving time. The correct answer is letter B. Oral communication is better than written communication for conveying feelings and emotions. You know, feelings play a big role in communication. That is a fact. And these are manifested in the tone of the voice, gestures or body language, facial expressions. And oral communication has these things. Written communication lacks these aspects. So the correct answer is conveying feelings and emotions. Number 14, a mixing of language arising from two or more languages in contact, and marked by simplifying and reducing the forms of language in contact or eliminating certain grammatical forms. A. Acculturation. B. Language gap. C. Code switching. D. Codification. Again, a mixing of language arising from two or more languages in contact and marked by simplifying and reducing the forms of language in contact or eliminating certain grammatical forms. A. Acculturation. B. Language gap. C. Code switching. D. Codification. The correct answer is code switching. Well, code switching happens when you combine two languages. For example, English and Filipino. The teacher here says, "Class, let's start our lesson." Our lesson now. Mamaya, magbibigay ako ng test. This is an example of code switching. You mix English and Filipino or Tagalog. The Filipino language is based in Tagalog. It is the practice of moving back and forth between two languages or two dialects. For example, Filipino or Tagalog and Hiligaynon or Ilonggo. For example, the mother says, "Mga anak, halina kayo, kay makaon na ta. Masarap ang ating ulam ngayon." That is another example of code switching. Reasons for code mixing or code switching: interjection, quoting somebody else, expressing group identity because of real lexical need, talking about a particular topic, repetition used for clarification, being emphatic about something to soften or strengthen request or command, intention of clarifying the speech content for interlocutor, and to exclude other people when a comment is intended for only a limited audience. Code switching. And number 15, it is a short fiction story that illustrates a moral attitude, a doctrine, or a religious principle. A. Myth. B. Legend. C. Anecdote. D. Parable. Again, it is a short fiction story that illustrates a moral attitude, a doctrine, or a religious principle. A. Myth. B. Legend. C. Anecdote. D. Parable. The correct answer is parable. A parable is a simple story used to illustrate a moral or spiritual lesson. Who popularized the use of parables? Of course, Jesus Christ in the Gospels. So we have the parable of the sower, the parable of the mustard seed, the parable of the Good Samaritan, the parable of the prodigal son, and the parable of the weeds. More information about parables. A parable is a story that teaches a moral or a lesson. The story seems simple on the surface, but when you dig deeper, there are hidden lessons that teach important truth. Again, the story seems simple on the surface, but when you dig deeper, there are hidden lessons that teach important truths. Okay, number 16. Nurses, A, take care of patients in hospitals. B, are taking care of patients in hospitals. C, took care of patients in hospitals. D, have taken care of patients in hospitals. Again, nurses, A, take care. B, are taking care. C, took care. D, have taken care of patients in hospitals. The correct answer is letter A, take care. Nurses take care of patients in hospitals. Nurses do this every day. It's their job. Therefore, it requires the simple present form of the verb. The format or the structure is I do. For I and they and we use verb in its base form. It means without S. If it's singular, If the subject is singular, he, she, it, then the verb has S. So she does, he does, it does. So nurses take care of patients in hospitals. We say the earth goes around the sun, right? We use the simple present tense to talk about things in general. The earth goes around the sun. We use it to say that something happens all the time or repeatedly. Nurses do this every day. So nurses take care of patients in hospitals. We use it to say that something happens all the time or repeatedly, or that something is true in general. It's not important whether the action is happening at the time of speaking. Next question, number 17. Mark is in 5th grade. He was asked to read a paragraph for 6th grade. He makes one error in every 100 words, and his comprehension was 75 to 89% accurate. Which of the following should his reading teacher do? A. Help him with 6th grade reading materials. B. Tell him to read 7th grade reading materials. C. Give him 5th grade reading materials. Or D. Tell him rather to read more 4th grade reading materials. Again, Mark is in 5th grade. He was asked to read a paragraph for 6th grade. He makes one error in every 100 words, and his comprehension was 75 to 89% accurate. Which of the following should his reading teacher do? A. Help him with 6th grade reading materials. B. Tell him to read 7th grade reading materials. C. Give him 5th grade reading materials. And D. Tell him to read more 4th grade reading materials. The correct answer is letter A. Help him with 6th grade reading materials. No, he is now in 5th grade, but when he was asked to read a paragraph for 6th grade, his comprehension was 75 to 89% accurate, right? He may be in grade 5, but his reading level is, well, for grade 6 students. His reading level is that of a grade 6 student. So give him the appropriate materials, the grade 6 materials. Option B, tell him to read 7th grade. That's too much. He's in grade 5. 7th grade, it's too much. And options C and D, option C is give him 5th grade. Why lower? And tell him to read more 4th grade. Options B and C don't make sense because he is not reading below his level. So the correct answer is A. Help him with 6th grade reading materials. Now, number 18. It is the study of applying computer science to linguistics. A. Applied linguistics. B. Psycholinguistics. C. Computational linguistics. D. Scientific linguistics. Again, it is the study of applying computer science to linguistics. A. Applied linguistics. B. Psycholinguistics. C. Computational linguistics. D. Scientific linguistics. The correct answer is C. Computational linguistics. Computational linguistics is the application of computer science to the analysis, synthesis, and comprehension of written and spoken language. And mind you, computational linguistics is not a new field. It sounds new, but it's not new actually. It's not a new field. As early as 1946, that early, attempts have been made or have been undertaken to use computers to process natural language. So computational linguistics is interdisciplinary. It is a combination of different fields. such as linguistics. The main field is linguistics and computer science. But mathematics also plays a big role here. Electrical engineering, because of computer, right? Computers are electronic machines. Psychology too, and speech and hearing science. Number 19, Tom is looking for his key. He cannot find it. He, A, lost his key. B, has lost his key. C, had lost his key. D, was losing his key. Again, Tom is looking for his key. He cannot find it. He, A, lost his key. B, he has lost his key. C, had lost his key. D, was losing his key. The correct answer is letter B, has lost his key. This is present perfect tense. Has lost. Has or have plus PP. PP here is lost in past participle. Option A, lost, is simple past tense. Had lost is past perfect tense. Had plus PP. And option D, was losing, is past continuous or past progressive. So why present perfect? Has lost his key. This requires, the situation here requires the present perfect tense, the structure of which is has or have plus PP or past participle. So has lost, has done, has played, has read. It means when you say present perfect tense, the action in the past has a connection with now. And what is the connection with now? Has lost his key. He cannot find it. He cannot enter. He cannot get inside his house. But when you say lost, not has lost, simple past, it means there is no connection with now. It means he has found his key. When we use the present perfect, I have done, I have lost, have or has plus PP, there is a connection with now. The action in the past has a connection with now. Next, number 20. Which of these statements almost always requires verbal communication and will be difficult to express non-verbally? A, I'm tired and bored. B, the party is exciting to me and I'm enjoying it. C, the recent budget fiasco could have been prevented by better statistical analysis. D, I'm in love with you and want to be near you. Again, which of these statements almost always requires verbal communication and would be difficult to express non-verbally? A, I'm tired and bored. B, the party is exciting to me and I'm enjoying it. C, the recent budget fiasco could have been prevented by better statistical analysis. D, I'm in love with you and want to be near you. The correct answer is letter C, the recent budget fiasco could have been prevented by better statistical analysis. When you say difficult to express non-verbally, it means that it's difficult to express without using words. When you say I'm tired and bored, you can express it without words. Just show them how you feel through your facial expressions, through your body movements, that you're tired and bored, right? It's very much possible to express this non-verbally. Just show your action, right? Just show a tired look or a bored look. Option B, the party is exciting to me and I'm enjoying it. People can sense that you are excited, that you are excited, that you're enjoying through your body movements, right? Even if you don't say a word. So B is incorrect. Option D, I'm in love with you and want to be near you. In love, you can show that you are in love by just using your, but just using body movements, no, your expressions, gestures. Option C, how can you explain or how can you express these things without words? Fiasco, budget fiasco. How can you express the concept of budget fiasco without words? It's impossible. How can you express the concept of better statistical analysis without words? How can you express this using gestures, right? So the correct answer is letter C. The recent budget fiasco could have been prevented by better statistical analysis. Okay, number 21. In scoring essay tests, which of the following should not be practiced? A. Rearrange the papers after checking one question. B. Write comments. C. Correct errors. D. Decide what qualities are to be considered in scoring the answers. Again, in scoring essay tests, which of the following should not be practiced? A. Rearrange the papers after checking one question. B. Write comments. C. Correct errors. D. Decide what qualities are to be considered in scoring the answers. The correct answer here is letter A. Should not be practiced. Rearrange the papers after checking one question. Options B, C, and D. B. Write comments. C. Correct errors. And D. Decide what qualities are to be considered in scoring the answers. Options B, C, D are the things that you are encouraged to do when you check essay tests. Option B, write comments. Yes, we write comments. Example, I like your ideas. Or explain this further. This will make the student think that, oh, my teacher has read my essay test. Letter C, correct errors. If you see errors, then especially grammar errors, spelling errors, you correct these errors right away. And D, decide what qualities are to be considered in scoring the answers. This has something to do with rubrics. This is to ensure that you have some standards to follow. It is a rhetorical device in which two or more clauses are balanced against each other by the reversal of their structures in order to produce an artistic effect. For example, never let a fool kiss you or a kiss fool you. A. Alliteration. B. Anaphora. C. Epithet. D. Chiasmus. Again, it is a rhetorical device in which two or more clauses are balanced against each other by the reversal of their structures in order to produce an artistic effect. For example, never let a fool kiss you or a kiss fool you. A. Alliteration. B. Anaphora. C. Epithet. D. Chiasmus. The correct answer is letter D. Chiasmus. Chiasmus is the repetition of a pair of words in reverse order. It is a rhetorical device. It is a literary device. So the arrangement of words, AB, then BA. We have here an example. Love makes time pass and time makes love pass. So this is an example of chiasmus. Next, number 23. Which of the following is most coherent? A. Writing is not always easy. Writing can be hard sometimes. Some people read a lot. Writing comes more easily to those people. B. Writing is not always easy. In fact, it can be hard. Some people read a lot. Writing comes more easily to those people. C. Writing is not always easy. In fact, it can be hard. Writing comes more easily to those who read a lot. And letter D. Writing is not always easy. In fact, it can be hard, but it comes more easily to those who read a lot. So, the correct answer is D. That is the most coherent structure. Coherence in writing is the logical bridge between words, sentences, and paragraphs. In other words, it uses transitional devices, transitions. Letter A are all sentences, no transitions, no transitional devices. Actually, B and C, this can be improved. These can be improved. No? Letter D, writing is not always easy. In fact, it's a transitional device. It can be hard, but it comes more easily. Another transitional device to those who read a lot. So the best answer is letter D. Coherent writing uses devices to connect ideas within each sentence and paragraph. Main ideas in meaning can be difficult for the reader to follow if the writing lacks coherence. Number 24. Which type of language evaluation provides the learner with greater responsibilities in the entire learning process? A. Group evaluation. B. Self-evaluation. C. Pure evaluation. D. Programmed evaluation. Again, which type of language evaluation provides the learner with greater responsibilities in the entire learning process? A. Group evaluation. B. Self-evaluation. C. Pure evaluation. D. Program evaluation. The correct answer is self-evaluation, no? With greater responsibilities in the entire learning process. According to Stanford University, one of the best universities in the United States, self-evaluation encourages self-reflection and self-responsibility for their learning. There refers to the students. Self-evaluation allows for greater student involvement and responsibility for learning. This is according to Macquarie University, another good university in Australia. Question number 25. I blank with some friends until I find an apartment. A. Live. B. Have lived. C. Lived. D. Am living. Again, I blank with some friends until I find an apartment. A. Live. B. Have lived. C. Lived. D. Am living. The correct answer is letter D. Am living. I'm living with some friends until I find an apartment. The situation here requires the use of the present continuous or present progressive, the I am doing form. The rule says that we use I am doing form for temporary situations. Again, temporary situations. Until I find an apartment. So for now, I am living with some friends. If it's permanent, then you say I live with some friends. For temporary situations, we say I am living with some friends. 26. This book, written by Henry David Thoreau, is viewed not only as a philosophical treatise on labor, leisure, self-reliance, and individualism, but also as an influential piece of nature writing. A. The Warden. B. Walden. C. Mending Wall. D. With Whom My Heart Is Laden. Again, this book, written by Henry David Thoreau, is viewed not only as a philosophical treatise on labor, leisure, self-reliance, and individualism, but also as an influential piece of nature writing. A. The Warden. B. Walden. C. Mending Wall. D. With Rue, My Heart is Laden. The correct answer is letter B. Walden. Well, Henry David Thoreau was an American essayist, poet, and practical philosopher, famous for having lived the doctrine of transcendentalism. Walden, by Henry David Thoreau, occupies a unique niche in literature, somewhere between the utopias and the practical how-to-do books, the wisdom of the sages and the wit of the ages, between the writings of the political economists and the naturalist's call to the simple life. Thoreau was typical of his time and place, an epitome of the Yankee spirit. No great scholar, no trained naturalist, his individuality, originality, humanity, and warmth are nevertheless ageless. He was the bachelor of thought and nature. That's Henry David Thoreau. 27. Speakers usually experience difficulty in ensuring that the message is A. Understood correctly, B. Conveyed precisely, C. Acted upon promptly and as desired, D. Conveyed precisely, understood correctly, and acted upon promptly and as desired. The correct answer is letter D. Conveyed precisely, understood correctly, and acted upon promptly and as desired. So the correct answer is D, the collection of all the choices A, B, and C. So speakers usually experience difficulty in ensuring that the message is conveyed precisely, understood correctly, and acted upon promptly and as desired. This is the struggle of the speakers in a communication process. How to convey the message precisely, that the message is understood correctly by the receiver, and that the result is achieved or acted upon promptly and as desired. And this refers to the element of feedback in the communication process. 28. Which of these teaching practices would a teacher who follows a communicative approach do? A. Assess the needs of the students. B. Focus on the grammatical rules of language. C. Teach the four macro skills sequentially. D. Emphasize oral proficiency. Again, which of these teaching practices would a teacher who follows a communicative approach do? A. Assess the needs of the students. B. Focus on the grammatical rules of language. C. Teach the four macro skills sequentially. D. Emphasize oral proficiency. The correct answer is A. Assess the needs of the students. In the communicative approach, there is this needs assessment mechanism, which is considered to be very important. And the result of the needs assessment process can be used as the basis for developing curricula and, of course, classroom practice. In the communicative approach, the teacher has to find out what his or her students need. Because what's the use of teaching something that the students do not need? So needs analysis is very important in CLT or in the communicative approach. 29. This poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson examines the stages of mourning over the death of his close friend Arthur Henry Hallam. The poem reflects the Victorian struggle to reconcile traditional religious faith and shows the poet's acceptance and understanding of his friend's death. A. Elegy written in a country churchyard. B. My Last Farewell. C. In Memoriam. D. Memories from Beyond the Grave. Again, this poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson examines the stages of mourning over the death of his close friend Arthur Henry Hallam. The poem reflects the Victorian struggle to reconcile traditional religious faith and shows the poet's acceptance and understanding of his friend's death. A. Elegy written in a country churchyard. B. My last farewell. C. In memoriam. D. Memories from beyond the grave. The correct answer is in memoriam by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Alfred Lord Tennyson was an English poet, often regarded as the chief representative of the Victorian age in poetry. In Tennyson's memoriam, or Tennyson wrote in memoriam after he learned that his beloved friend Arthur Henry Hallam had died suddenly and unexpectedly of a fever at the age of 22. Tennyson and Hallam had a profound friendship and shared membership in a secret intellectual club still in existence in Cambridge called the Cambridge Apostles. Number 30, it is the study of changes across how languages changes across time. A. Social linguistics. B. Historical linguistics. C. Descriptive linguistics. D. Psycholinguistics. Across time. So it's historical linguistics. It's the marriage of history and linguistics. Historical linguistics studies the history of particular languages on the basis of existing written data. It studies the prehistory of languages by means of comparative reconstruction. It studies the ongoing change in language. It deals with such questions as what is changed in a language, how is it changed, and why did a change occur. So that is the field of historical linguistics. Okay, number 31, blank from Brian recently. A. Do you hear? From Brian recently. B. Did you hear? From Brian recently. C. Are you hearing? From Brian recently. D. Have you heard? From Brian recently. Again, do you hear? From Brian recently. B. Did you hear? From Brian recently. D. Are you hearing? From Brian recently. D. Have you heard? From Brian recently. The correct answer is have you heard? From Brian recently. The situation here demands or requires the use of the present perfect tense, whose form is has or have plus pp or past participle. So have plus the past participle heard. Have you heard from Brian recently? Recently means before until now. When we talk about a period of time that continues from the past until now, recently, we use the present perfect tense, have or has plus pp. I have done something. So have you heard from Brian recently? Number 32, it is a song or poem expressing sorrow or lamentation, especially for one who is dead. A. Ode. B. Ballad. C. Parody. D. Elegy. Again, it is a song or poem expressing sorrow or lamentation, especially for one who is dead. A. Ode. B. Ballad. C. Parody. D. Elegy. The correct answer is elegy. Elegy is a poem that reflects upon death and loss. One of the most famous elegies is the elegy written in a country churchyard by Thomas Gray. 33, you A. Always watch TV. You should do something more active. B. You are always watching TV. You should do something more active. C. You have always watched TV. You should do something more active. And D. You always been watching TV. You should do something more active. The correct answer is letter B. You are always watching TV. You should do something more active. The situation here demands the use of the present progressive or continuous. I am doing something. So you are always watching TV. There is a difference between I always watch TV, and I am always watching TV. When you say I always watch TV, I do that often, right? I do it every time. But when you say I am always watching TV, it means that I watch TV too often or more often than normal. It has a negative meaning. It has a negative effect. So the negative effect here is you should do something more active. Now, this is the negative side there. There is the negative comment from the speaker. You are always watching TV. You should do something more active. You're always losing things. It means that you lose things too often or more often than normal. 34. Why does communication often undergo changes? A, because there are many communication experts. B, because it is connected with human behavior. C, because communication is dependent on technology. D, because man communicates all the time. Again, why does communication often undergo changes? A, because there are many communication experts. B, because it is connected with human behavior. C, because communication is dependent on technology. D, because man communicates all the time. Correct answer is letter B. Communication often undergoes changes because it is connected with human behavior. That is why communication is dynamic. One of the nature of communication is that it is dynamic. Human behavior changes all the time. Since communication is intertwined with human behavior, then it also undergoes changes all the time. 35. The most important effect of mass communication is its ability to mentally order and organize the world for us. This implies that it is mass media, A, that chooses advertisements, B, selects production number, C, determines what will be news and what won't, and D, decides the type of program to air. Again, the most important effect of mass communication is its ability to mentally order and organize the world for us. This implies that it is mass media that determines what will be news and what won't. This is the agenda setting theory in journalism, in the study of mass communication. Media provides cues, or media provide cues to public which tells them where they should focus their attention. This way, political reality is set by the media. The agenda setting theory puts forward the idea that news media creates public agenda by making people think things they want to show. This is the agenda setting theory. As to the use of media, whether it's singular or plural, it depends. There are varied opinions about that. So sometimes media is, sometimes media are. Okay. Okay, number 36. A paragraph ends with a body, B, a supporting detail, C, a closing sentence, D, a topic sentence. Again, a paragraph ends with a body, B, a supporting detail, C, a closing sentence, D, a topic sentence. The correct answer is letter C, a closing sentence. This is very basic. A concluding or closing sentence indicates that you are bringing closure to a paragraph. It is the last sentence in a paragraph. 37. In Greek mythology, a mortal princess, the granddaughter of Perseus and Andromeda. She was the mother of Heracles by Zeus, who disguised himself as her husband Amphitryon and seduced her. A. Alcmene. B. Semele. C. Hebe. D. Cybele. There are many pronunciations here. Some people pronounce it Cybele or Cybele or Cybele. Cybele. Okay? Again, in Greek mythology, a mortal princess, the granddaughter of Perseus and Andromeda. She was the mother of Heracles or Hercules by Zeus, who disguised himself as her husband Amphitryon and seduced her. The correct answer is Alcmene. Alcmene was the mother of Heracles or Hercules by Zeus. You know, in Greek mythology, Zeus is the greatest womanizer. And how did she get Alcmene pregnant? He disguised himself as Amphitryon, her husband, and there he seduced her. 38. Severe financial crisis would cause, this is cause, the reduction in teaching position, increase in class sizes, decrease in the number of special programs, reduction of supplies, etc. In such a situation, who will be the most affected sector in schools? A, teachers, B, students, C, parents, D, school officials. The correct answer is, of course, students. With all these problems in the education system, it's the students who suffer the most because they are the recipients of education. 39. An essay is organized around A, thesis statement, B, a topic sentence, C, a conclusion, D, a theory. Again, an essay is organized around A, thesis statement, B, a topic sentence, C, a conclusion, D, a theory. Correct answer is a thesis statement. What is a thesis statement? A thesis statement presents what you intend to prove about a subject or an issue. A thesis statement must contain a subject, your topic, and an assertion, your opinion that you will prove in the paper or in the essay. A thesis statement answers the prompt. The thesis statement is typically located at the end of your introduction paragraph, which sets up your thesis statement and outlines the rest of your essay. Number 40, the Ifugao hero immortalized in the epic Hudhud. A, Labaw Dunggon, B, Lamang, C, Aliguyon, D, Sulaiman. The correct answer is Aliguyon. The Ifugao hero immortalized in the epic Hudhud is Aliguyon, the prowess of Aliguyon. Hudhud is the epic of the Ifugaos. It narrates events about the culture and traditions of the Ifugao tribe and their hero, Aliguyon. Labaw Dunggon is from Hililawod or Hililawod, from Panay, from Central Panay, an epic from Central Panay. Lamang is the Ilocano epic, the Agpi Lamang. Sulaiman is from Mindanao. Okay, number 41, I cannot understand why he is blank. He is not usually like that. A, why he is selfish. B, why he is being selfish. C, why he is a selfish. D, why he is selfishness. Again, I cannot understand why he is blank. He is not usually like that. A, selfish. B is being selfish. C, a selfish. D, selfishness. The correct answer is letter B, is being selfish. I cannot understand why he is being selfish. He isn't usually like that. So let's differentiate between he is selfish and he is being selfish. When you say he is selfish, that is his attitude or character all the time. That is his nature. But when you say he is being selfish, it means he is behaving selfishly at the moment. No? It shows temporary attitude or character. It says he is not usually like that. So the correct answer is he is being selfish. I cannot understand why he is being selfish. He is not usually like that. 42. The limitation of oral communication is that A, it does not require on-the-spot thinking. B, it is not affected by the speaker's feelings or stress or excitement levels. C, it is irreversible. What is said cannot be taken back. And D, it is easy to be aware of our body language. The correct answer is letter C. It is oral communication is irreversible. What is said cannot be taken back. Yes, in oral communication, you can't take back something once it has been said. The effect inevitably remains. And this is contrary to written communication. You can delete, you can erase, you can undo, you can change files. But oral communication stays. The message in oral communication stays. Next, number 43. The villagers admire him for his wealth, education, and manners, but they did not know how troubled his soul is, so that eventually he kills himself. A. Richard Cory. B. Brutus. C. Ebenezer Scrooge. D. Job. Correct answer is Richard Cory. Richard Cory first appeared in the American poet Edwin Arlington Robinson's 1897 collection, The Children of the Night. In 4 brisk stanzas, Richard Cory tells the story of a wealthy man who often strolls the streets of a poverty-stricken town, whose residents all envy his seeming glory. Yet the poem's final line reveals that despite seeming to have everything he could want, Cory kills himself. The poem's thematic interest in wealth, poverty, and the elusive nature of happiness are deeply tied to its historical context, a series of economic depressions that struck the United States in the 1890s. That's Richard Cory by Edwin Arlington Robinson. Number 44, Pete, is it raining? Pam, no, but the ground is wet. It, A, rained, B, has rained, C, has been raining, D, was raining. The correct answer is, it has been raining. Pete, is it raining? Pam, no, but the ground is wet. It has been raining. The situation here demands the use of the present perfect continuous or present perfect progressive. Has been raining. Has or have plus been plus verb ing. No? I have been doing something. We use this structure for an activity that has recently stopped or just stopped. It has stopped raining. And there is a connection with now. What is the connection with now? The ground is wet. So it has been raining. 45, it is the study of applying linguistics to real-life situations. A, situational linguistics. B, comparative linguistics. C, computational linguistics. D, applied linguistics. The correct answer is applied linguistics. The study of applying linguistics to real-life situations. What is applied linguistics? It is commonly known as the branch of linguistics concerned with practical applications of language studies. For example, language teaching, translation, and speech therapy. The term applied linguistics refers to a broad range of activities which involve solving some language-related problem or addressing some language-related concern. That is the field of applied linguistics. Okay, number 46. In Greek legend, son of Lycaon, Elysian, in Homer's Iliad, he breaks the truce or agreement between the Trojans and the Greeks by treacherously wounding Menelaus, the king of Sparta, or Menelaus. He is ultimately slain by the warrior Diomedes, A. Agamemnon, B. Hector, C. Achilles, D. Pandarus. Again, in Greek legend, son of Lycaon, Elysian, in Homer's Iliad, he breaks the truce between the Trojans and the Greeks by treacherously wounding Menelaus, the king of Sparta. He is ultimately slain by the warrior Diomedes. The correct answer is Pandarus. Pandarus, in Greek mythology, Pandarus attempted to kill Menelaus, thereby violating the agreement between the Greeks and the Trojans. And this resulted to the, and this prolonged, the Trojan War. This made the Trojan War even longer because there was a violation of an agreement. 47, if Divine Comedy is characterized by absolute faith in a single truth. So Divine Comedy is basically religious in nature. Which of the following best characterizes Boccaccio's Decameron? A complete negation of Christian doctrine. B, characteristics of the merchant class. C, an equally devout reference for truth. D, a sexual libertinism that seeks to revive the great pleasures of ancient Rome. The correct answer is B, characteristics of the merchant class. Giovanni Boccaccio's Decameron is called the epic of the merchant class. Throughout the Decameron, the mercantile ethic prevails and predominates. The commercial and urban values of quick wit, sophistication, and intelligence are treasured, while the vices of stupidity and dullness are cured or punished. While these traits and values may seem obvious to the modern reader, they were an emerging feature in Europe with the rise of urban centers and a monetized economic system beyond the traditional rural, feudal, and monastery systems, which placed greater value on piety and loyalty. 8. If you do not agree with someone else, what would you say? A, you are wrong. B, I don't agree. C, stop talking rubbish. D, stop talking. Correct answer is B, I don't agree. This is an issue as far as social linguistics is concerned. The social dimension of language. The social dimension of language. Why B is the correct answer? It's better to focus on the self. I don't agree. I don't agree. It's my opinion. If I tell you that I don't agree, I am not being impolite. Option A, you are wrong. You focus on that of others. And C and D, stop talking rubbish and stop talking are impolite replies, rude and lacking manners. 49, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was an Austrian musician and composer. He blank from 1756 to 1791. A was living. B has lived. C had lived. D lived. The correct answer is lived. Simple past tense. Lived. I lived. I did. The situation here demands the use of simple past tense. I lived. Action in the past. There's the action in the past and there's the time element. 1756 to 1791. Number 50. This is the last question. It comes from the Sanskrit root word aranya, meaning forest. This is because they were intended as texts to be read and studied by ascetics or rishis who had retreated to the solitude of the forest to deepen their contemplation and meditative practices. A. Brahmana. B. Aranyaka. C. Upanishad or Upanishad. D. Veda or Veda. Correct answer is Aranyaka. This is Indian literature. This is Sanskrit literature. Aranyaka comes from the Sanskrit root word aranya, meaning forest. This is because they were intended as texts to be read and studied by ascetics or rishis who had retreated to the solitude of the forest to deepen their contemplation and meditative practices. So this is it. We have rationalized all 50 questions. So we will end here. See you next week for set 8. Thank you very much.